Every single time you stream a movie, post a photo, or work on a document online, you're actually watching a perfectly executed show. It all just happens seamlessly, instantly. It really does feel like magic, doesn't it?
But what is really going on behind that screen? What's the hidden machinery that makes all this digital magic possible? Well, today, we are pulling back the curtain. We're going to take a look at the architecture of the cloud.
Okay, let's dive right in. The absolute best way to wrap your head around cloud architecture is to think of it like a giant theater production. It's got two really distinct but totally connected parts, the part you see and, of course, the part you don't. So on one side, you've got the front end. That's the stage, everything the audience sees and interacts with. And then on the other side, you've got the back end. That's the backstage, all that hidden machinery that makes the show run without a single hitch.
So let's kick things off with the part of the cloud that everybody knows, the stage. This is the world that we see, the world we interact with every single day. The front end is basically everything you can see and touch on your screen. Think about it. When you open up an app like YouTube, the whole layout, the video thumbnails, that search bar at the top, that is all the front end. Its entire job is to create a smooth, intuitive experience so you can easily tell the system what you want to do. But the second you click on a video, that's when the real action begins. And what's really fascinating here is what's happening backstage, in the engine room. The backend is this absolute powerhouse that you never get to see. It's a massive complex system of servers, enormous databases, and super intricate software that takes your request from the front end and just does all the heavy lifting to get you what you asked for. Now, this engine room isn't just one giant machine. Oh, no. It's actually made up of several key parts all working in concert. We can break it down into 7 essential components. All right, let's take a closer look at each of these 7 components and see how that backstage magic really happens.
First up, it all starts with the application. You can think of this as the brains of the whole operation. It's the core software that has all the logic, all the rules for whatever service it is you're trying to use.
Now, that application gets delivered to you through a service model. This basically defines how the cloud is giving you access. It can be something like software as a service, where you get a finished product like your email, or platform as a service, which gives developers the tools to build their own apps. And it goes all the way down to infrastructure as a service, which is just the raw servers and storage for people who want total control. But no matter the service model, that application's code needs a place to, well, run. And that's the job of the Runtime Cloud. This is the virtual stage where the code actually performs its tasks, and it often uses these flexible things called virtual machines to handle the workload super efficiently. Of course, what's an application without data? And that brings us to storage. And this is a big one. This is where absolutely everything is kept. Every user profile, every photo, every video, every single piece of data is tucked away and managed in these gigantic databases, just ready to be pulled up in a split second. So what's holding all of this digital magic up? Physical infrastructure. This is the bedrock of the cloud, the actual real-world hardware. We're talking about racks and racks of powerful servers, super high-speed networking gear, and the special software that lets all of these pieces act together as one giant powerful unit. Okay, so you've got all these moving parts: applications, runtimes, storage, hardware. You're gonna need a director to run the show, right? That's exactly where the management component comes in. It's the software that's like a conductor for an orchestra, making sure every single thing backstage works together in perfect harmony. And wrapping around this entire backstage operation is probably the most critical component of all: security. The back end is a totally restricted area. I mean, it's holding all our data. So having tough-as-nails security isn't just a feature. It's absolutely mandatory to protect everything and control exactly who gets access. So, now that we've met all the actors backstage, let's put the whole show together. You're going to see how one simple click on your screen kicks off this incredibly powerful and complex process. It all starts with you, the audience, interacting with the stage, the front end. Your request zips across the network instantly to the backstage, the back end. And back there, those 7 components we just talked about all work together to find, process, and get your content ready. Then, just as fast, it's sent back across the network and appears perfectly presented right on your screen. So you see, the stage and the backstage aren't separate shows at all. They're 2 halves of one whole.
constantly talking to each other, working in perfect sync to create every single digital experience you rely on. It's this beautiful, complex dance happening behind every screen, every second of the day. And that kind of brings us to one final thought. This invisible architecture is always evolving. It's getting faster, smarter, more powerful all the time. So the big question is, as our digital world gets more and more complex, what's the next act for this incredible backstage performance going to look like?